injured quarterbacks as well. UCF taking on Memphis. It looks like there's a lot of money going the other way now because of the fact that we're looking at what, a freshman quarterback taking Milton's place. Just a horrific injury, a terrible way for the season to end for UCF. But should we be fading UCF that much at this particular point?
You know, again, this is another one. If you look at the opening line, you have UCF that was about an 11-point, was a 5.5-point favorite at Memphis. So if you just take 3 for home value, UCF should be 11.5 points this week. Well, is the quarterback worth that much? Yeah, I think he is. I think he's one of the most valuable quarterbacks in the league. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go away from playing UCF. I don't mind playing a backup quarterback when he's making his first start. You don't have film on the player. Last week he came in, he wasn't ready for the playbook. Now he's taken snaps behind the number one. All year he's watched McKenzie Milton. He knows the playbook. I do fade a new quarterback in their second or third start because the defensive coordinators now have the tendencies of the players and now know how to defend him. You know, this game, again, is a toss-up to me, but it's not an automatic with a new quarterback in, especially when he's been on the team and has been through 11 games or 12 games of action. He's played in 4 games this year in mop-up duty, so he's not like a brand-new quarterback. You know, and prior to last week, he was 5 of 14 last week. Again, tough coming in on the road at USF on a short week Friday. But on the year, he's 21 of 43 for 174 yards. So he's not a freshman that hasn't taken any snaps. I have the game as a toss-up. I think the line is right where it should be, and it's a game I'm just going to watch and enjoy.
Yeah, currently right now, 61% of the spread bets are going the other way on Memphis. 63% of the money line wagers are also going in that direction, Ralph. So there's a lot of money being faded on UCF right now. 24 straight wins. That is all up for for grabs. That is all a possibility to end, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. And let me ask you, Ralph Michaels joining us, Wagertalk.com. Make sure that you guys follow him first and foremost. Cal Sports LV, a very educational follow. If you like numbers, if you like trends, you like stats that matter, Cal Sports LV is definitely the follow that you want to have on Twitter. Let me ask you this. What team do you think has the best chance at an upset? What underdog do you like the best this weekend?
You know, I would say Texas. Again, this is another situation. Why is this line where it is? Texas, the line was basically the same. Texas won the first game. Texas handled them the first game pretty easily. Tom Herman, 12-1 against the spread as an underdog. Tom Herman, as an OC or an head coach, going back to 2011, his last year at Iowa State, then he was at Ohio State, 22-1 against the spread as a dog. You have now a situation, Oklahoma's defense, the last 3 weeks, has been the worst defense in all of football. You see that they gave up a season high to Oklahoma State, 640 yards. A season high to Kansas, 524 yards. They gave up 524 yards to Kansas at home. And then at West Virginia, they gave up 704 yards. This is, again, that scenario. It's hard to beat a team twice. Well, if the team's the better team anyway, the better defense has an offense that's improved enough to score and is getting over a touchdown. Not only do I like Texas, again, I think they're a very live dog to pull the upset.
Who would you, Ralph, if you were a betting man, and we know that you're not, but if you were a betting man, Ralph Michaels, Wagertalk.com, joining us.
I sure am a betting man. Why would you say I know? Why would you say I'm not?
I was being completely facetious there, Ralph. We all know you're a betting man, my friend. But I was wondering, who are your four? If we're going to wake up a week from today or 10 days from today, whenever it is that they announce the big four that'll be playing for a national championship, is it, if it's not Oklahoma and they lose, who are your top four do you think we're going to end up having the handicap to play for a national championship?
I don't think there's any question. Bama's in, Clemson in, Notre Dame's in, and it comes down to Oklahoma or Ohio State. So that's it. That's the only scenario. The only thing that can screw up that scenario right there is if Georgia beats Alabama, then you have Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame. Oklahoma and Ohio State are both out. If a one-loss Alabama team is there, they're going to get in. And the SEC champion is going to get in, clearly. Now, the funny thing is, as you know, we've talked about it on the show, I'm a huge Ohio State fan. From the state, have always been a fan. And, you know, what's best for the Ohio State program? It's probably if Oklahoma wins and Ohio State wins and Oklahoma gets in, because then you're a 12-1 Ohio State team. You're going to go to the Rose Bowl. You're going to beat Washington. You're going to be 13-1, incredible. If you get into the playoffs, you then may end the season on a loss you're going to be up against Alabama. You're going to be the 4 seed. If Alabama wins, you're the 1 seed. And, you know, you're going to be a 14-point dog. And, you know, you may cover the game, but you're going to lose the game. So, you know, a couple of years ago when Ohio State played Bama and Ezekiel Elliott broke it through and they went on to beat Oregon, I was confident in that Ohio State team that they could beat Alabama. It didn't concern me with Cardell Jones. You know, you had a guy making a second start at quarterback. But this Ohio State team, even though they mauled Michigan, I just think it would be tough. So, you know, even though I'm an Ohio State fan, it's weird to say that I think Oklahoma, if they win this and Ohio State wins, it's better for the program and recruiting that they don't get in. They can use that as a chip on their shoulder moving forward that we got screwed and then end up the season 13-1, probably the number 2 team or number 3 team in the country, you know, in the final polls.
So and we could possibly see 2 SEC teams playing for a national championship if Georgia does pull up the upset over Alabama. Is there any way to keep Georgia out at that point?
No, if you have an SEC team, I think the SEC champion is going to go in. You know, no matter how good these other conferences say they are, I mean, the SEC is still the king. And if this Georgia team does beat Alabama, you've got a 1-loss SEC champion. They are in, no question. The only way they wouldn't have been in is, let's say, you have a couple undefeated teams, but you don't. So what are you going to have in? Are you going to have a one-loss SEC champion over Ohio State or Oklahoma? Absolutely. Are you going to have in a one-loss Bama team over Ohio State or Oklahoma? Absolutely. It doesn't matter. I mean, to me, it's better for Alabama if they lost that game to lose it in the SEC champion because you lost to the team that was the runner-up champion last year. So, yeah, if Georgia wins, they're both in, clearly. And then it's those 2, Clemson and Notre Dame. If they don't, it's gonna come down to this. If Oklahoma wins, they play early. They play at noon Eastern. Ohio State plays at night. Georgia and the SEC championship plays at 4 o'clock. So when Ohio State kicks off at 8 o'clock, they're going to know exactly what Oklahoma did. They're going to know exactly what Georgia did. And if they have to try to run up the score and they have the possibilities, they will do so. If Oklahoma loses and Georgia loses, Ohio State knows all they have to do is win that game. So even within the day, you're going to have different scenarios where I would say you can play Ohio State or fade Ohio State. Again, if Oklahoma wins by 10, Georgia loses, Ohio State knows they have to have a power win by 20 or 25 over Northwestern to have a shot to get in. Again, it doesn't mean you can blow out an opponent, but if you have the opportunity to do so, they would in that case.
I love that. Love that whole reasoning there. That's why we love talking to Ralph Michaels, Wagertalk.com. Make sure you guys head over to Wagertalk.com. Make sure that you check out the Cal Sports page. Among all sorts of other things that Ralph is very, very good at doing, college basketball is very high up on that list, too. So make sure that when you head over to Wagertalk.com, make sure you check out the packages available from Ralph for not only his football, NFL, NFL and college, but also his college basketball picks. Now let's talk some NFL here, Ralph, because let's start from betting strategies with the NFL. We have a very important game tonight to a couple of teams. We've got a couple of very important matchups this weekend for a whole bunch of teams, really. But betting strategy here, revenge, cold weather this time of year. How do you approach looking at the NFL games this time of year, Ralph?
You know, it really is more important to look at the injuries. Teams are beat up. There's teams that are putting people on the IR. There's teams that, you know, you may say, oh, they lost their offensive guard. Well, if they lost a second-string offensive guard and now they have a third-string offensive guard, that injury is much more important. So, you know, also there's times where, situations are just overrated. One example I have is teams that are playing a second straight road game in December. Mm-hmm. This is in December only. Mm-hmm. Against a division foe. They are over 66% all the way back to 2010, the last 9 years. So I think in the NFL, people have that mentality, well, it's late in the year. This team has to travel twice in a row. I'm gonna lean with the home team because they are fresher and didn't have to travel. Well, you know, you're playing a division foe, so you already know this foe. The preparation is much different. We see that in division games, the second division game, how much closer they are and how much less work you have to do because you know that team. And this is the NFL. You don't have to worry about traveling. I mean, it's probably more difficult for some of these people in LA to get from their house when there's rush hour traffic to the stadium than it is to go to the suburbs, hop on a jet and fly 3 hours to a division foe, watching a movie and having a healthy, luxurious meal in seats that are one seat per row. So, you know, travel in the NFL is not travel. You know, when you want to talk about some college football or college basketball traveling situations, I'm all for that. But again, road teams are overrated in the NFL, and late in December, don't be worried about playing those back-to-back teams. And again, when you're looking at weather, I mean, weather's going to affect totals. You're going to see these totals start to really fall, and snow or rain shouldn't really affect your handicapping. Quarterbacks aren't affected by snow or rain. It's the wind. When you see that wind starting to get over 15 or 20 miles an hour in an NFL game, that's when you automatically want to start looking at the under. If there's 25-mile-an-hour winds and the line hasn't adjusted, it would be an automatic play for me to bet the under because those type of situations are so difficult. You know, and also, if there's 25-mile-an-hour winds and the line already has moved 4 or 5 points, don't play the game. If you're not on top of the information, do not bet a bad line. It's better to leave a winner off than it is to put a loser on. If you go 1-1, you're losing the juice. You're losing 10% off. Just if there's a question, if the line moved too much, just pass. Don't play the game. And try to be on top of the line, move for the next situation.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, some days the best bet you make is the one you don't make. So not everything needs to be bet, even at this time of year. Ralph Michaels joining us, Wagertalk.com. All right, let's start with tonight, and this is another one of these reasons that following Ralph on Twitter is so much fun. It's just knowledge is power. You get so much knowledge from following him at CalSportsLV. And Ralph, you had a very interesting post about an hour or so ago regarding tonight's game. Lay it out for the listeners and the viewers. What history is looking at tonight between the Saints and the Cowboys?
Well, when an NFL team gets hot, we saw the Patriots do it a few years ago. You know, we see a lot of teams. Joe Public likes jumping on the team, and Vegas makes adjustments. So it's very, very difficult to find a team that's going to win and cover 5, 6, 7 games in a row. Again, because scheduling, because Vegas starting to give them inflated lines. And, you know, a line may be 3 or 4 points higher than it would have been before that win streak, especially if they're playing a team that's on a losing streak. Well, since 1989, No NFL team has gone 10-0 straight up in ATS. There are 5 teams that covered 9 straight games, like the New Orleans Saints have. It was the 92 Chargers, it was the 2003 Eagles, the 2012 Saints, the 2014 Chiefs, and the 2016 Cowboys. Remember how we were all in love with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and what they did. Well, of all those teams, no team has ever gone 10-0 straight up in ATS. Wow. The Saints would be the first if they do so tonight.
Wow, big game. 7.5 and 8 is what the spread is looking like, depending on the book that you're looking. Over 52.5. Do you have a feeling one way or the other in the game tonight, Ralph? Are you leaning one way or the other?
Well, I am not. It's a game I'm going to enjoy watching. I will throw out another stat, and when you have teams that are a 7-point home dog, like Dallas is tonight, since 1989, those teams are 23-65 over/under. So that means 73.9% of the games have gone under the total. Well, why is that? Well, you have a team at home playing in front of their fans, playing an opponent that obviously, if you're a 7-point road dog, you are playing good football. So what do? You don't want to make mistakes. You try to slow the pace down. You maybe run the ball. You don't want turnovers, so you become a little more conservative. So, if someone wants to play this game and want to have fun with it, my suggestion would be this. I love the way the Saints are playing. I would do a teaser, and I'm not a huge teaser fan, but for my customers that want action on a Thursday or Monday night, I've seen some of these games tonight down as low as 7. So whatever you find, 7 or 7.5 or 8, I would tease New Orleans minus the 1 or 1.5 or 2 points, and then tease the under 58 or 59, and think that you can have fun, watch the game, and have action that I think is a viable play move for this evening.
Great suggestion there. All right, let's take a look at a few more games. Let's look at some of these upper echelon teams. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at the Raiders, laying 15. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Andy Reid is coming off a bye, and I'm sure there's a statistic somewhere in there, Ralph, that tells us Andy Reid off a bye is just Andy Reid off a bye. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, there's no question he's been profitable in that role. He is 16-3 straight up off a bye, but again, now you're talking a crazy type of historic number. No one has been an away favorite of this many points since 2007, I believe. It was the Patriots in that. You're looking at a situation, though. I do have a stat for you. Teams that are on the road and scored 35 or more points in their last game and lost, 28-8 against the spread. So you are talking 25-plus years of action. You're talking 36 games of action, and you have 78%, almost 80% profit in this role. Now, if you remember, KC lost that historic game. They scored 50 points and lost, the first NFL team to do it. So it certainly fits in this scenario. But, again, the system, if it ever occurs again later in this year, you have to be on the road this week, and you had to have scored 35 points or more and lost the game. Then you are 28-8 in this situation like KC is this weekend.
Wow. See, those are the kinds of stats we're talking about. Wagertalk.com. Ralph Michaels joining us. Another one of those upper echelon teams, Ralph, the Rams, laying 10 on the road as well at Detroit. What do you think of this game?
You look at the Rams, and, everyone remembers what they did early, and they were a very, very dominant team. But they're actually 1-5-2 against the spread the last 7 weeks. What happened is because they became a fan favorite, they were the Super Bowl favorites. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon, but last week against Kansas City, they got outgained by 91 yards. At New Orleans, they got outgained by 4 yards. They were a favorite at home against Seattle, a big favorite. They only had a 42-yard edge. And against Green Bay, they only had a 57-yard edge. So in their last 4 games, yes, they're 3-1, but 95, I'm doing the math right now, 99, they've been outgained by 4 yards in that game, or they've been outgained. So if you've been outgained or you're basically even in far yardage, that's a 2-2 team. So there's some value playing against them in this role. I'm not high on the Lions, but Stafford threw that pick 6 on Thanksgiving. They have the extra couple days of rest, and to me, this is their season, and if Detroit's going to show up at all in the way the Rams are playing and not blowing people out recently, again, the last 4 weeks, the biggest win was 5 points. I would lean with the home team.
Gotta ask Ralph Michaels. It would just be blasphemous of me not to mention the Cleveland Browns. And here come the Browns, fresh off just a ass whooping of the Bengals here, heading to Houston. Houston laying 6 in this game. Are the Browns for real, Ralph? Are we starting a new trend of possibly winning streak here?
Well, this team is still building, and as a Cleveland fan, as I mentioned, and I like the scenario they're going to be in moving forward. But Houston is about, for a team that's won 8 straight games after losing their first 3, coming into the year, Houston had the longest streak in the NFL. If you go back to last season, they had lost 6 or 7 straight, and now they have the longest win streak, so they completely flipped from being the worst to being the best. But the situation to me is, even in that span, they're only plus 39 yards per game. Yes, they beat Tennessee by 17 points. They had 6 sacks in that game. They had 5 sacks against Washington. They had 4 sacks against Jacksonville, and in fact, they've had 4 or more sacks in 5 games this year. Well, the Browns over the last 4 games have only given up a total of 4 sacks. Baker Mayfield is very mobile, doesn't get his team in a bad situation where he gets sacked or penalties. I think Cleveland can be in this situation and perhaps hang with them, but I also want to not jump on the bandwagon because prior to last week, Cleveland had lost 25 straight road games. They were 1 away from setting an NFL record, which is the Detroit Lions. Just because you beat the worst team in football right now, Cincinnati, on the road, doesn't mean you could play a second straight road game in a dome situation that's very loud against 2 of the best defensive rushers in the country with Watt and Clowney. So, again, it's not a play I'm going to have a play on. I'm rooting for the Browns with my heart, but if I had to lean with a side with the spread, all of a sudden people have become Browns fans after back-to-back wins. Going on the road against Houston's a little different scenario.
All right, and one final one before we let you go, Ralph. NFC East fans, Giant fans, Redskin fans, Cowboy fans, of course, tonight, and Eagles fans, the Super Bowl champions, they're still in it at 5-6. In fact, I think the good news is 6-5 is currently the 6th seed in the NFC. So Washington, Philadelphia laying 6.5 at home. If Philadelphia loses, chances are their season is over here. But can they cover at 6.5 at home against Colt McCoy and the Washington Redskins?
Unfortunately, I'm going to be not much help to our listeners giving us a play in this game. Alex Smith this year completed 63%. He had a 10-5 ratio. Colt McCoy this year completing 60% with a 3-3 ratio. For this week, I'm going to put the buy sign on Philadelphia. It's a situation where they had to come from behind last week. They were down 19-3. They come back, and they do what they have to do. They have a 22-3 edge coming down the stretch. And Washington on the road, only averaging 338 yards. They're getting outgained by 36 yards per game. In this situation, playing off the Dallas game and then traveling again for a second week against Philly. I talked about don't over-adjust the line too much because you're traveling. The one thing traveling does do is give you a short week of practice. And when you have a newer quarterback like Colt McCoy and you're trying to put more things into the game, it's tough to do. I'm going to say the comeback for Philly was a godsend for at least this week, and we'll see what happens moving forward when they go to that rematch at Dallas the next week.
There you go. All right, you can reach them, guys. It's very simple. All you have to do, head over to Wagertalk.com, pull down the roster of handicappers. You'll see the Cal Sports page. Check it out. He's got some plays this weekend for you. Make sure you check out his college basketball plays. Don't forget, he joins us Tuesday here on the show where we talk nothing but college basketball. But do yourself a favor. Head over to Wagertalk.com right now. Get yourself on the Cal Sports page. Start getting yourself in on the alerts. Get yourself in one of those packages. Very affordable right now to be able to do that. Plenty of money to be made. And also make sure that you follow Ralph, Cal Sports LV, at Cal Sports LV. He is the man, Ralph Michaels. Ralph, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Joe. Looking forward to it.
You got it. Ralph Michaels, Wagertalk.com. Make sure you guys head over there right now. Get yourself hooked up with one of the packages, especially college basketball. He's got some plays this weekend that you may want to take a look at as well. But do yourself a favor. Sign up with Wagertalk.com. Make sure you get to Ralph Michaels' page. And we love Ralph every time that he comes on the show. Don't forget, he joins us on Tuesday as well as we talk some college basketball. But it's always good to hear from Ralph because that is nothing but knowledge there, people. That's like a football knowledge sandwich that you can't eat both halves, man. You got to dissect it a little bit at a time. So if you didn't get a chance to consume that entire interview, make sure that you guys, as soon as we're done here, and that's the beauty part about streaming, right? If you're joining us live like Vori and Jonathan and Kerry and Steven, who are joining us in the live chat rooms right now, you guys on demand, you have access to these interviews anytime that you want. And there was a lot of great information from Ralph Michaels, as usual, from not only the college betting standpoint in football, but also the NFL, including tonight's game. So make sure that you guys check that out because there was a lot there to consume. But we want to thank Ralph, as always, the entire WagerTalk.com family for being part of the Joe Raineri Show. We are not done yet. We still got a Meet Your Capper segment. What we do here on the show is once a week we are going to introduce you to a new capper, somebody that is, somebody that might not have been doing it for 40 years like Ralph Michaels, but you know what? They're very good at what they do, and they know what they're doing. They're transparent. They're quality dudes. They're individuals that you should and would want to do business with. They're not scamdy cappers, which unfortunately litter social media everywhere. These aren't guys that are claiming to be 98% winners and, load up on your, your 5,000, it's a 5,000 unit play. You ain't going to get those guys here, okay? But you are going to meet KingsPicks here today. He is your Meet Your Capper of the Week. Good guy. I believe he's in Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. He's in Kansas. He, too, has got some thoughts not only on tonight's game, but on the Washington-Utah game tomorrow night, so we're going to hear from him. Listen, it's all about getting different points of view, isn't it not? I mean, that's what it is. Different cappers bring different things to the table, okay? And what we're trying to do here on the show is shine a light and showcase the guys that are actually in this industry that are doing it right. They're putting in the work, they're putting in the time, and it pays off. These are guys and these are groups that you want to do business with. And listen, as a sports bettor, chances are you don't use just one service, you use a few services. And if you are looking maybe to get a new perspective, a fresh perspective, which is always a good idea to do regardless, then, these are some of the guys that you definitely want to check out. Guys like Jason from Sports Pick 365, our friends at TrendyBets.com, Wagertalk.com, KingsPicks you're about to meet, HalftimeMagic.com. The list goes on, and those are the guys that we're trying to bring on this show and introduce to you because, as you've noticed, these guys are real human beings. They don't hide behind a Twitter name. They don't hide behind a website. They don't hide behind a phone number. where you have no idea who these people are or what they are. I mean, silly me for thinking that you would actually want to do business with people that you know. It's a crazy thought there, but that's the concept of this show, is to bring you these handicappers who you don't know, would probably not know existed, but you have an opportunity to hear them speak. You have an opportunity to hear where they come from, the style of handicapper that they are. You get to hear some of their plays, and it gives you an opportunity to go, wow, I wouldn't have known that guy was there. I wouldn't have known that halftimemagic.com is there. You know how many of you guys have DM'd us here on the show going, I didn't even realize halftimemagic.com was an option, and you guys love it. You guys love the way they go about it. As in fact, let me pull this up, because you guys have been blowing us up here on the you guys have been blowing up the text line. 305-791-3839. Our friends at halftimemagic.com. That is their text line. And the question on the table today was, give us your money line lock of the day. What are you going to plop money down on money line today? And we've gotten two big answers that have come across. And by the way, if you text the show, you become eligible to win a free day of plays from halftimemagic.com, which is really cool, right? I mean, so they truly believe in their service. They're willing to guarantee their results, and these are quality dudes. I can tell you that right now. They are the real deal. Transparency, all their plays, you can see it right there. It's documented, but give it a try. You get a free day worth of plays from Halftime Magic simply by texting into the show. 305-791-3839. I want to know what your money line play of the night is, because let me tell you something. It's come down to two. We've gotten two answers. One of them, money line, Golden State Warriors plus 320. Well, at least I'm looking at uwager.eu right now, but that's what it thinks. A lot of you have texted in the Golden State Warriors, Toronto Raptors tonight. The Golden State Warriors, when's the last time you've seen Golden State plus 320 on a money line? A lot of you have sent that in, which is crazy. And then the other one that we're getting an awful lot of, a lot of you are picking the Cowboys money line tonight, plus 250. There are, and they have to be Cowboy fans, but there's an awful lot of Cowboy fans that are going, you know what? They can pull it off. There's some value. Cowboys plus 250 was the other one that we keep seeing. And then one other one, I think it was the NHL. Oh, yes, the Buffalo Sabres plus 165. Buffalo has been on a tear. They're taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. Plus 165 is what we have heard there. So do yourself a favor. Text in. Do you agree, disagree? Tell us what your money line bet of the night is, and we'll go ahead, give you an opportunity to win a complete free day's worth of plays from halftimemagic.com. You've got nothing to lose. You got everything to gain. Just tell us what your favorite money line play is tonight. 305-791-3839. All right, we're still loaded here. We're going to have Matt Latufsky, sportingnews.com. He's going to join us. Our weekly Fantasy Stardom Sit-'em segment is coming your way. Want to send a shout-out to the people just joining us via the social media chat rooms. It's a pleasure to meet you guys. Welcome into the Joe Raineri Show. Thank you very much for making us a part of your day. We are just really kind of getting started here, getting rolling. I'll give you that TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day, too, in case you've missed it. We did that, I think, bottom of the hour, but don't worry about it. We'll tell you what's going on. We've got picks. We've got reasoning. We've got a whole lot of ways for you guys to be better sports handicappers, better sports gamblers, better sports bettors, better bettors, you name it, whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is knowledge is power, and that is what we are providing for you here today. Matt Latufsky, sportingnews.com, is coming up, but we want to say hello to a new sponsor here on the show. That would be Good Greek Moving and Storage. Simply dial ** Greek. It is, if you are living anywhere in South Florida and you need a mover, there is only one place to go, and that is Good Greek Moving. Check them out, GreekMoving.com. They've moved me. They've moved my parents. They've moved my sister. If it's anywhere in the state, out of state, doesn't make a difference. If you are within an earshot here in South Florida and you need a mover, Greek Moving is the way to go. And simply, you don't have to worry about remembering a phone number. Just go ** Greek, and you are good to go. They are the official mover of the Miami Marlins, by the way. and they seem to be moving a lot of Marlins over the last couple of years, because you guys know that. So simply dial it up, ** Greek, get them on the phone. If you ever need a mover, those are definitely the guys that you want to call, and we want to welcome them and thank them for being part of the Joe Raineri Show. And coming up in 2 minutes, we will have Matt Latufsky, sportingnews.com. We're going to go ahead, give you a little stardom sit-em advice this week as the playoffs get ready to in your fantasy league. Yeah, a lot of you are getting ready for the playoffs. Maybe you got some daily fantasy questions. We will get those answered for you coming up next. But first, a little word from some of our sponsors, including low-cost airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and, of course, our friends at Miami Acura. Don't go nowhere. Matt Latufsky, sportingnews.com. Next, it's the Joe Raineri Show.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. That's 800-898-0816.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Don't be such a pussy. Subscribe to the Say It With Me podcast with Joe Raineri on iTunes today.
Welcome back in, and a very happy Thursday to you. Want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with us here today. Ralph Michaels, Wagertalk.com. Of course, Jason, SportsPick365.com. Coming up here in just about 15 minutes, you're going to meet your capper of the week, KingsPicks. He's got some thoughts not only on tonight's Thursday night football game, but tomorrow, Washington taking on Utah. We will get you covered. But first, and I apologize to this man for we always usually bring him on at 5 o'clock, but we're running a little bit late today. But no doubt, it just wouldn't be right if we didn't talk to Matt Latufsky, sportingnews.com. He is a fantasy god, and he joins us via the Miami Acura hotline. And Matt, how was your holiday first and foremost, man? Was it good?
It was pretty good. Can't complain.
I'm a Lions fan, so I have to sit through that every Thanksgiving, a tough loss. But you know what? I went to Mizzou, so Chase Daniel getting in there, getting the start, brought me right back to the glory days of 2007. So you know what? It all worked out.
All right, I love it. All right, let's get some of the questions going in here because we've gotten a lot of questions about what to do with, I guess Mitch Trubisky is out, correct? So it does look like your boy is back in there again. But a lot of folks went out and picked up Lamar Jackson and are asking in one particular situation, I guess now that they don't have Mitch Trubisky, is Lamar Jackson a viable alternative or against Atlanta? Is it a good matchup? Is it something you would look at?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great matchup. They're one of the worst. They've been one of the worst defenses against quarterbacks all year. Now, a big reason for that is because they allow a lot of touchdown passes, which obviously you can't really expect from Lamar Jackson. But at the same time, his rushing floor, I mean, to me, that floor is 50, and he's probably going to get more. And so you just kind of add that in. He's going to get some passing yards, especially against a bad defense. If you look at anywhere between, let's just say 70 rushing yards, let's say 150 passing yards, so that's 13 points right there. I feel confident he's getting one touchdown, rushing or passing. Now we're up to 19. Factor in an interception. He'll throw at least one. We're down to 17. So it kind of comes down to, does he get the second touchdown? That's sort of what puts him over the top, puts him in that QB1 territory. I think he will. I think in this matchup, as good as it is, with the playmakers he has at receiver and with his running ability on a fast track, in a dome, et cetera, he's worth starting. So I put him right on that lower tier of the quarterback starting range, but I think he's there.
Let's say, we'll keep it back in that lower tier of quarterbacks here because there seems to be some people that got hit by the injury bug. For instance, I'm being asked, Colt McCoy or Josh Allen. Josh Allen and Buffalo taking on Miami. Colt McCoy is on the road in Philadelphia. Chances are this probably had Alex, and unfortunately he's gone for the season, so trying to make do with what you got. Josh Allen, Colt McCoy, I mean, who would pick your poison?
I mean, this either is about DFS, it's a 2QB league, or I don't know what else it is, because if that's the quarterback situation in Week 13, you're not making the playoffs anyway, right? Just take the week off early. But if that's what we're down to, Josh Allen or Colt McCoy, I guess I would take. Obviously, Allen has showed that rushing floor last week that maybe does give him the higher floor. So if you're just looking for that same floor, it's probably Allen. But I do like the matchup with McCoy. It's a road Monday night game. That's a little bit of a worry for sure. But, the Eagles haven't been great on D. They've given up, they're second most in fantasy points allowed to receivers. So I watched it. Doesn't necessarily have that great group of receivers you like, but he throws to Jordan Reed a lot. Looks like Chris Thompson's coming back, which I think will really help him specifically. And he can run around a little bit. He'll get you a few rushing yards to raise his floor. So if you're really going for it, I play McCoy. If you're just like, look, man, I need that, say, 15 points, then play Josh Allen.
All right, and we got a couple of running back questions coming in. Phillip Lindsay or Lamar Miller?
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. I just think that it's Lindsay if you're down to those two. Bengals are about as bad as it gets on defense and pretty much every fantasy position, certainly running backs. Lindsay's really established himself. He makes big plays. Obviously Lamar Miller does too. We all saw that Monday night. And as much as I like that matchup at home against the Browns, I just think Lindsay's better, more explosive, and has the even better matchup.
Tevin Coleman or Gus Edwards?
I think it's Edwards. I know he's been a little dinged up in practice. We don't exactly know what's going on with Alex Collins, but assuming he's good, he's playing. Edwards, that is. I think you got to start him again. It just comes down to matchup. Ravens are brutal against running backs. Falcons are very charitable to running backs. They're obviously playing in the same game. Coleman's come through. He does a little something receiving. Seems to find a way to get in that end zone one way or another, whether it's garbage time or not. But I just think Edwards is getting 15 to 20 carries. They're still a run-based offense as long as Lamar Jackson's a quarterback.
And you knew it was coming. Matt Latufsky, SportingNews.com, fantasy expert, joining us via the Miami Acura hotline. Let's do this. You know it's coming. Dion Lewis, Kenyon Drake, or Tariq Cohen?
Yeah, it's coming. It was. It was definitely after that game last week for sure. But, he's got the little shoulder stinger. Who knows exactly his status. But I think it's Tariq Cohen this week. I like all three of those backs, honestly. And, Deion Lewis seems to have taken a step back, even though he has the potential to have a good game in any given week. But I just like Cohen. I think the Giants give up a good amount of fantasy points to running backs. I think this will be a Jordan Howard game, maybe a little more than Cohen, but we know Cohen's going to be using that receiving game. We saw them target him in the red zone more than once on Thanksgiving. Hauled in one, probably should have had another. They're going to utilize him plenty, too. There's no doubt about that. Kind of keep things safer for. So I think both of those guys are in play, but of the backs you mentioned there, I do like Cohen a little bit more.
A couple interesting questions here. Wide receiver position: T.Y. Hilton, Tyler Lockett, or Corey Davis?
I mean, those guys are all good, and they got some good matchups, But Lockett's been a touchdown machine. But I just think T.Y. Hilton's the best of the bunch, and that offense is just automatic right now. I think the Jags are absolutely reeling. I don't want to say they're going to quit packing it on the year, but they don't have a lot of incentive. Let's be honest. They seem kind of like a front-running defense, at least some of those players, and they're not running out in front of anyone right now. So I just think the upside there with Hilton. I mean, certainly Tyler Lockett has a lot of upside, has a better matchup too. He's been great. But Corey Davis to me just too up and down. Tough to trust that guy. He flops in good matchups, comes through in bad matchups. I don't know what to do with him. I wouldn't want that headache. So I would take the best player in the best offense, and I think that's T.Y. Hilton.
We got a flex question. Need one out of the three: Doug Martin, DJ Moore, or Allen Robinson.
Yeah, another group. I don't necessarily like Robinson as much. I think with Chase Daniel in there, you don't kind of know how the targets are going to be distributed. The Giants are actually pretty good against wide receivers. So to me, it's the other two. And, it's tough with Doug Martin because it's a great matchup on paper, but I think the narrative is, well, they're going to get down right away. Jalen Richard's going to be in. They're going to have to pass all second half. But they're going to try to run early. We know that at least. And Doug Martin had a bad matchup last week, still got in the end zone, did pretty good. I like DJ Moore a lot. There's no question about it. I think he has the higher ceiling, but this is another situation where if you're kind of looking at the higher floor versus the higher ceiling, what you think your team's going to need. I think Martin has that higher floor, but I do think Moore has the higher ceiling. And so it just kind of comes down to what fits your team.
What about, and this is another interesting one here, Julian Edelman, Tyler Boyd, or Jarvis Landry?
Yeah, I just don't think you can, Boyd's been great, but with A.J. Green coming back, with Jeff Driscoll in at quarterback,
right.
Medium to somewhat tough matchup, I want to see what happens there for a week before I play Boyd, honestly. A.J. Green's not 100%. Maybe Boyd is still sort of the number one. I don't know. I want to see that situation. And with who's the third guy you mentioned there? I'm sorry.
I believe the third guy there was where did I see this here? Hold on. I had Jarvis Landry was the last one.
Right. Landry's been a huge disappointment in great matchups.
Yeah.
And so that, now he's got a bad matchup. People hate him. He's going to be on benches. That means he's going to score. That's just how it works in fantasy football, but I can't recommend him. You can't feel comfortable playing him. So it's just one of those things. I would bench those two guys then this week. Go with the first guy.
Tight end position, Austin Hooper or Cameron Brate?
Yeah, that's definitely Brate. No question about it. It's just way better matchup on paper. The Panthers are allowing the most fantasy points to tight ends. Obviously, when these teams met a few weeks ago, it was a different quarterback and a different tight end. So I don't know if that necessarily translates. But Fitzpatrick found O.J. Howard twice for touchdowns. Brate, obviously, we know when somebody's throwing him in the red zone, I think he comes through this week.
Also, tight end. Ben Watson tonight taking on Dallas, or Evan Ingram taking on the Bears?
I mean, Ingram might not play.
Yeah.
That said, I feel like you could do better than Watson. It's a bad matchup. Dan Arnold's really become the primary pass-catching tight end in New Orleans anyway. That's one of those where I'd hit the waiver wire. There's other guys out there. Matt Lacoste for Denver with Jeff Houderman hurt. Bengals are terrible against tight ends. TJ Uzama for the Bengals. Broncos struggle against tight ends. There's other choices you can find. Even Antonio Gates is probably on your waiver wire. Pittsburgh really struggles against tight ends. I'd rather take my chances. Watson obviously in a great offense. We know anyone on New Orleans can score in a given game. But just the numbers and the trends, again, the trends of his targets going down while Dan Arnold has stepped up, that worries me almost more than the matchup.
Another interesting one here, wide receiver position. Golden Tate, and what was the other guy? Oh, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, Watkins, another guy who might not even play.
Right, yeah.
And, the Eagles play Monday. So that, you'll know. But I think I would play him anyway, Tate. He's getting 8 targets. He's gotten 8 targets the last 2 games. He hasn't done much with it, as a lot of the Eagles' offense has, and at least the wide receivers. So this is a good breakout spot. The Redskins have sort of been struggling against wide receivers. We saw what Dallas did to them on Thanksgiving. And it's a huge game. I mean, that is a huge game. I think a lot of people have kind of ripped off the Eagles. But look, if Dallas loses tonight especially, and the Eagles win, they have a brutal schedule. I don't see them making the playoffs anyway, but if they're gonna have to win Monday night. That's a must-win game for them. So I kind of like their chances and a couple of those receivers to break out.
Adrian Peterson or Isaiah Crowell?
Man, that's Peterson the last 4 games, he's managed to get in the end zone a couple times.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he's been averaging like 3 yards a carry. Yeah, but it's like 3 yards a carry. So if it wasn't for those touchdowns, he'd be nothing. But at the same time, what's Crowell? He's not much either. He's another guy very touchdown reliant. At this point, Peterson, as long as he's active, he's more likely to get carries. So I think you got to play him if it's down to those 2. But that's just a tough situation all around. Not a great matchup either for Peterson. So that's just kind of comes down to the point flip, I think.
This is an interesting one, too. We'll end on this one, Matt Latowski, SportingNews.com. It's a quarterback question, and I guess I can see where they're coming from. Baker Mayfield taking on the Houston Texans or Derek Carr taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, which in all likelihood will have to have Derek Carr throw the ball 400 times.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what you look at for that game. Mayfield, it kind of feels like it's like people who picked him up this week, like you missed your window. He had 4 or 5 good games in a row. He came through. He had multiple touchdowns, 5 straight games, 4 last week, and now he's got 3 tough matchups in a row. And so there's a weird thing. You pick him up. He looks great. They're playing great. They're playing better. You want to start him, and it's a really bad road matchup. And, look, I'm not a huge Derek Carr fan. I don't really like anything with the Raiders. But it's a tough matchup for Mayfield. And maybe he's just better. Maybe he can run around, get you 2 touchdowns, has a higher floor. But I think I would honestly take Carr there. Wouldn't feel great about it. But if you got Mayfield, hopefully you get to Week 16. They get to play the Bengals again at home. He might win some fantasy titles that week.
Yeah, well, you might have missed your window. That is a good point. All right, he is Matt Latowski, SportingNews.com. Make sure that you guys follow him on Twitter, @MLatovsky. It is a fantastic, if you are into fantasy on any level, definitely somebody that you want to be following, and check him out at sportingnews.com as well. Matt, appreciate it. Sorry we're a little late today, but we will talk again next Thursday, man.
All right, no problem. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Matt Latowski, sportingnews.com there. So, yeah, Derek Carr is going to be in a shootout. Whether or not he completes any of those passes, I have no idea. But I kind of agree with him. I think the whole Baker Mayfield window, you missed the boat there. You probably should have picked him up a couple of weeks ago if you're getting to this point in the season and you don't have him already on the roster. If you're just trying to pick him up, it's going to be very tough to. I don't know that. Can Cleveland, I mean, we talked to Ralph Michaels a little bit earlier. Can we get Cleveland to start rolling out wins now and go on winning streaks? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But tough matchup this week against the Houston Texans. All right, if you're just joining us, thank you very much for stopping by. Welcome in once again. It's the Joe Raineri Show. And if you missed it earlier, let's recap what we've got going on. Ralph Michaels, Wagertalk.com, joined us. Great, you know what he brings to the table. Great information about the conference games coming up in college football. Tonight's NFL game, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Also, Jason, SportsPick365.com. They are growing leaps and bounds. Check out the website, okay? They got all sorts of really cool things that are happening there. Plus, their picks have been fire. He's got 2 for you, as a matter of fact, tonight. 2 NBA picks that he loved and felt very confident. It's their VIP picks. He shared those with us here tonight, so make sure that you guys catch that. SportsPick365.com. Of course, our TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day. If you didn't get it, let me give it to you right now, because not only do our friends at TrendyBets.com have a good feeling about this, but so did Jason at SportsPick365.com. You know why? They both love the Warriors and Raptors over 224. Now, let me double-check on this because this has gone up. That was from earlier today, but let me look at where the line is right now on this game. All right, so it actually went down. Interesting enough, it's over 223.5 right now. This might be a good time for you to jump all over that line. 223.5 right now at uwager.eu. That is what the over-under on the Golden State game is. The Raptors are now a 9-point favorite, -9 in that game. So they're just begging you, are they not? They're just begging you to go ahead and take the Golden State Warriors, which it appears that a lot of you already have, because I am continuing to see a bunch of money line recommendations, plus 320 on the Golden State Warriors. And real interesting, very interesting on what's going on there. When is the last time you remember seeing any sort of lines like that for the Golden State Warriors? But that is the TrendyBets.com play of the day. Make sure over 223.5 right now. Warriors, Raptors, you may want to jump all over that. And also give you an opportunity, even after the show, we're always asking you what your favorite money line play of the day is. 305-791-3839. That there will give you an opportunity to win a free day worth of plays from Scott and the gang over at halftimemagic.com. We certainly invite you to go check out halftimemagic.com and see what it is all about, and it is awesome. So 305-791-3839. Go ahead and give us your money line, your favorite money line play of the night. And listen, some of you had sent in the Cowboys. I don't know if something tells me you're definitely Cowboy fans, but we got a couple of recommendation money line for the Cowboys. Go figure. Might be in Jerry's world there, but hit us up. Let us know what you got. We'll hook you up with a free day pass to halftimemagic.com. All right, coming up, we're going to introduce you to our capper of the day. Our capper of the week, actually, KingsPicks. He's in Kansas. He's got some thoughts on the game tonight as well as the game tomorrow night, Washington, Utah. You are going to hear from him, but first, I'm going to tell you about a good friend of ours and one of the newest sponsors on the show, Good Greek Moving and Storage. If you or anybody you know in the South Florida area needs a mover, these would definitely be the guys to do it. They serve Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, all of South Florida, and it doesn't make a difference. Local move, national move, you could be moving out of your house because you ended up losing that parlay and now you can't afford rent, whatever it may be. Good Greek Moving and Storage is definitely the guys that you want to hit. And how do you hit them? It's very simple. All you got to do is hit ** Greek on your phone. That's ** Greek. They are the official movers of the Miami Marlins. And let's face it. You know how many people they moved from the Miami Marlins over the last 2 years? Come on. Good Greek Moving and Storage. They've moved me. They've moved my parents, my sister. It's the only group and the only company that I trust, and you are definitely in good hands with Good Greek Moving and Storage. So make sure that you guys hit them up. Love those guys. Thank you very much for becoming part of the Joe Raineri Show. And coming up here, a little word from Resort Release, Laser Spine Institute, and Dish TV. When we come back, 60 seconds, as a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and introduce you to our capper of the week, KingsPicks. Good guy. He's in Kansas, probably freezing his ass off, but we'll talk to him anyway. That's coming up. 62 seconds. Don't go nowhere. It's the Joe Raineri Show.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
right, in an effort to keep trying to introduce the real players in the world of sports handicapping, we have included a segment here on the show called Meet Your Capper. It gives you guys an opportunity to meet some of the under-the-radar guys that you may not have heard about, but you know what? They are professional, they are transparent, they are good guys, and they are certainly people who you should trust to invest in, and that's why we bring you Luke from Kings Sports 15. That's at Kings Sports 15, better known as KingsPicks. And Luke, thanks for taking some time and hanging out with us here on the show today, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. Should be a good time.
All right. Well, let's start first and foremost with who you are, where you at, what you've been doing. Give us a little background about KingsPicks and what you've been up to.
Yeah, my name's Luke. Love sports my whole life. I have been capping sports for about 5 years. College basketball is probably my favorite sport to cap, just to look at all the stats and then the home field advantage, and then just the home court advantage with all the teams is so fun to watch. NFL's been a pretty good moneymaker this year. College football as well. I'm ready for these bowl games to start up and these playoff games in college football and NFL. And yeah, that's
all right.
That's
so
me.
You are ready to rock and roll, Luke. And why don't we start first and foremost with a game that you like coming up? Speaking of college football, Washington taking on Utah. Now, Washington, I believe, has pretty much dominated this series, 11-1 over the last 12. They've won the last 3. We've got I think a backup quarterback for Utah in this game. Washington -5 last I checked. What do you like? What do you like about this game? Who do you like in this game?
Even though Washington has dominated the series, I like Utah here. They did come out a little bit flat against BYU. They lost to Washington in week 3. So I think this is a little revenge spot. I think Utah's got a good enough defense to keep Washington off the field. Utah's defense is their opponents are only converting 35% on third down, which I think is huge in college football. And also, their opponents are only completing 58% of the passes. And Washington likes to pass the ball, so that's perfect for their defense. So I think Utah keeps Washington off the field enough to cover the 6 in this game.
There you go. All right, he's going Washington there. Likes it. Also a game tonight. New Orleans, Dallas. All right, New Orleans 7.5, 8 in some books, depending on where you're looking, Luke, and 52.5. I believe the under/over currently. What do you like in this game? Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I actually like 2 plays in this game. I'm gonna go with Dallas and then the under. The reason I like Dallas is because Atlanta has played okay on the road, but truthfully, they should have lost. I mean, against Atlanta on Thanksgiving Day, Atlanta's turned the ball over 3 times in the New Orleans side of the field. And so I'm going to take Dallas because Atlanta hasn't played that well on the road. I mean, Atlanta should have lost to Minnesota at Minnesota, but Minnesota fumbled it right before the half. Saints went down and scored after half, which really broke the game open. So I'm going to go with Dallas. And then the reason I like the under is because both teams are going to control the ball. We think of the Saints as a high-paced offense, but they're not that high, fast-paced offense that we think. They run the ball, they control the clock, and so does Dallas. So I'm going to take the under there because that'll be a lot of running game.
All right, so go ahead. To recap here, you're going to take Washington -5, -6, depending on the book. You like them to be able to take care of business against Utah, and you like both the under and the Cowboys in this game. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, sorry, I like Utah against Washington.
Oh, I'm sorry, I completely blew that. Then you like Utah. Okay, you're taking Utah to cover the 5 or 6 points here. You think they can be able to get the job done despite the past couple of games there. And you like the under, and who else in tonight's Cowboys and New Orleans game?
The Cowboys.
You like the Cowboys. All right, she's taking the Cowboys. He's taking the under tonight. He's taking Utah against Washington. All right, screw the pass. It doesn't make a difference. Backup quarterback. He likes the underdog. I love this. You like underdogs in both of these games here, Luke.
Yes, I think Utah will keep Washington off the field just enough to cover that 5.5 spread.
All right.
And I also think just the running games of both teams in the Saints and Dallas game will make it low scoring, so Dallas give me 7.5 or 8.
There you go. All right, make sure you guys head over, check him out, KingsPicks. It's at Kings Sports 15, at King Sports 15. Great Twitter follow. Make sure that you guys keep tabs on him. Transparent. His picks are on there all the time. He's a great guy. You heard it here. One more question for you, Luke. You're a Kansas man, so I got to ask you, how many games does Les Miles win last year?
I think he's got a lot of talent with that Kansas squad, so I'm going to have to go 5, maybe a bowl game with 6.
Wow. All right. So high hopes there for a 90-year-old Les Miles coaching the Kansas team. I love it. All right, Luke, make sure you check him out at Kings Sports 15, at Kings Sport 15. Make sure that you guys check him out. And once again, if you're just joining us, he likes Utah being able to cover, getting 5 or 6, depending on the book, against Washington. And he likes the Cowboys tonight, and he likes the under in the game. So good luck to you, Luke. Thank you very much for stopping by, man. We look forward to talking to you again, and good luck to those of you that are going to be playing the games tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Luke, thank you so very much, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. All right, that's Luke, KingsPicks, guys. Make sure that you follow him. Want to thank him so very much for stopping by and hanging out, again, in an effort to try and shine a light and showcase these cappers that are across the country here, some of them that you might not ever otherwise know who they are, but they are just as qualified and just as good as anybody else. We try to bring them here on the show and introduce them to you because that's what it's all about. Unfortunately, once sports betting has become very popular around this country, it's become legal in a lot of states. It's also meaning that everybody and their mother seems to think they are a professional sports handicapper now. And you got a lot of people that are hiding behind Twitter names and these groups and websites and phone numbers. And we're trying to bring it out into the forefront. We're trying to introduce so you can actually get to know who these cappers are, because different strokes for different folks. I mean, no capper is, every capper is different. They bring something different to the table, and sometimes it's a good fit for you, the better. Sometimes it's not. But all we're trying to do is give you the opportunity to get to know who these guys are and make a decision on who's good for you. Who do you want to invest with? But these guys are all qualified. These guys have all been vetted here on the show. We trust them with our own money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have brought them on the show here to introduce them to you. So we want to thank Ralph Michaels, of course, Wagertalk.com, TrendyBets.com with their NBA play of the day. Jason and the fine folks, Ed and company over there, Jason, SportsPick365.com. Appreciate those guys. Of course, KingsPicks that you just met, and our friends over at HalftimeMagic.com. And congratulations to those of you that ended up winning a free day worth of plays from HalftimeMagic.com. Make sure you write this number down, guys, if you'd like to get in on the HalftimeMagic.com free play for a day. All you got to do is text our show at 305-791-3839. Doesn't make a difference if it's live or if you're watching this on demand, the replay of it. All we're looking for is your money line play of the day. Who is it that you like? Who's your money line play of the day? You text that to us, 305-791-3839, and you give yourself a chance to win a free day of plays courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com. All right, that was loaded. Matt Latusky, SportingNews.com. It was packed today, but I want to thank them all very much. I want to thank Good Greek Moving and Storage, Miami Acura, Wagertalk.com, all the guys making this possible. We appreciate you, and we certainly do appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and become a better sports bettor. That's ultimately what we're trying to do here, is provide as much knowledge to you as humanly possible. So we appreciate the support, and we ask that you go ahead and spread the word if you could. Like these videos, go ahead and retweet them, tell your friends, follow. We certainly appreciate all the support that you guys give us. So enjoy the night. Good luck. Have a good time tonight. Cowboys, Dallas, NBA, Golden State, Toronto. Who's going to win this game? Will the Sabres continue to dominate in the NHL? They're taking on the Tampa Bay. Why can't I do it? The Lightning. Thank you very much. The Tampa Bay Lightning. All right. So enjoy the games tonight. Come back and join us tomorrow, 4:00. We do it all over again. We've got all sorts of tremendous handicappers on tap for you guys to meet and get to know and possibly do business with, and that is ultimately what it's all about. So good luck tonight, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. 4 o'clock, it's the Joe Raineri Show.